a relentless inflow of checks worth rupees 1 lakh each, shawls and mementos being returned to the Academy office for the last 1 week. What started with Nayanthara Sehgal and seconded by Ashok Vajpayee has turned into a spate of returns among writers who want to return their Sahitya Akademi Awards in protest. And so far, over 23 scholars have given up their Sahitya Akademi Awards and 4 have resigned from their posts.
और राइटर्स अवार्ड्स वापस दे रहे हैं अपने. ज़रूर ये आंदोलन बढ़ रहा है और बढ़ता जाएगा जब तक ये हालात न बदले.
कुछ दिनों में बहुत सारे अन्य साहित्यिकों ने उनको मिले अवार्ड्स वापस किए. उनको सपोर्ट देने के हेतु से मैंने ये अवार्ड वापस किया है कि मैं भी महसूस कर रहा हूँ कि हमारे देश में असहिष्णुता बढ़ रही है.
I find that it is going towards a particular direction which is not viable and comfortable for the minorities. They feel insecure.
The 3 killings of Narendra Dabholkar, Govind Pansare and most recently M.M. Kalburgi is a common thread that runs through their protest, with the dissenting tribe only swelling in size against an increasingly intolerant India, a mute government amidst a heightening communal discourse. The Academy meanwhile has called an emergency meeting of its executive body on October 23rd.
The writers' institution, a cultural body and a very sensitive organization, and this kind of reaction from the people, we also concerned about it.
But a seemingly uncultured culture minister wants to play Sherlock Holmes instead.
Way this is being done, it is a matter of investigation now. Who are the people who initiated this process? What is their background? What is their motive? This needs to be investigated.
As more and more writers join the chorus, alleging threats to free speech, the voices of dissent are mounting. Is it being overdone or is it justified? Stay tuned for a fiery debate. Priya Singh, ET Now, New Delhi.
Is this uproar a legitimate cause? Is this dissent being overdone? Is there more to these protests than just the political motivation? We've got 2 very special guests, Aakar Patel and Tavleen Singh, to fight out on some of those issues. Aakar, I'm going to begin with you. Do you believe this whole politics of dissent, the fact that one after the other Sahitya Academy winners are returning their awards, is this overdone or do you believe it's actually justified?
Writers don't have too many avenues for a protest, and I think that in a more civilized society they can write about it. Russia in the 19th century had people who told them through their books what the nation and what the country was like. I think that in our times drama is seen as a way out of, as a shortcut perhaps, out of writing, and in some sense it is true that what is being done is theatrical, but we must also realize that a lot of people see the situation in this country with grave anxiety and feel that they need to do this in order to show their protest.
Tavleen Singh, how are you reading these developments? Aakar says that a lot of people seeing these developments with grave anxiety, and that, you have a bunch of writers who are simply protesting against the fact that, we're not being allowed to protest enough anymore. Is there a problem with that?
Well, obviously they don't watch television or read the newspapers, because on a daily basis, Mr. Modi has been attacked for every small incident that seems even marginally communal. A stone is thrown into a church and that becomes a major editorial. Every evening since the Dadri incident, on every news channel that I watch, there has been huge criticism. If that's not dissent, I would really like to know what they think dissent is.
Aakar, comment on that. Do you believe that the atmosphere in India right now is conducive to dissent, debate, disagreement, protest, or are people in fear? Look at the way 3 activists were killed in the most merciless manner just because they had a point of view that wasn't in agreement with the right wing.
I wouldn't agree with the fact that they haven't done this before. I think the fact that they're doing it together is a new thing. But writers have always registered protest against violence, whether by the state or whether it is facilitated by the state or whether it is, encouraged by it. I wouldn't be dismissive of their actions, and I would ask those who say that they should have done it in 1984 to look at why they shouldn't be doing it now. If a mistake was made when the Sikhs were being butchered or people in the Northeast were being hit, why is it wrong for somebody to say it now? We can't justify the violence by one party in one state by saying that the other party is entitled to doing it in another state. That's totally wrong.
All right, they haven't done this in the past collectively. They've done it one by one. But Tavleen Singh, I have a very frank question to ask of you. Aren't we becoming an increasingly intolerant nation? I mean, look at what's happening in Dadri, or the kind of jabs that are coming from the culture minister, or what the Shiv Sena did yesterday. Signs of increasing intolerance, you believe?
It's happened before. We are not. Please stop this jargon. You're saying we're becoming increasingly intolerant. Do you remember the burning down of Hussein's exhibition in Gujarat 10 years ago? Do you remember? Is there no sense of history? Do you remember the Shiv Sena doing these things before? Why do you think that it's all suddenly happened since yesterday?
I'm tempted to ask Aakar if he agrees with you, but I have a final question. I'm completely running out of time here, Aakar. Are these writers undermining at one level the autonomy of the Sahitya Academy? Because that is also one school of thought. Or are they perhaps only resorting to their only means of protest, which is to give back the awards that have been awarded to them?
I can see both sides to what you're saying. I can see for a fact that they are actually undermining it, that we tend to assume that the Sahitya Academy, most people would not have heard of it, so I think perhaps it's the writers who have made it prominent by doing this. But it is true that these awards are given for literary merit. They are not given necessarily by the state. They are given by a bunch of people who are writers themselves. So for writers to say that they want to return this in protest against the actions or the inactions of the state, I can see how some people think it's wrong. But like I told you, writers have very few means of dissent. And if an act of dissent, if an act of individual dissent can get them into the front pages or on the TV stations, they will do it.
All right, Aakar Patel and Tavleen Singh, we really appreciate you taking time out this Tuesday evening and being with us right here on Business Tonight on ET Now.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.